Is this really the downfall of Southwest Airlines? The go-to budget-friendly airline that also gives free checked bags has done a complete 180 on its customers and what they value the most. So is this the beginning or the end? Hey, I'm Brandon, and I'm a digital nomad, and I love to talk about what's going on in the travel world today. Now, actually, I'm a reoccurring customer of Southwest Airlines. I also own the credit card, so I've been going and flying on Southwest for quite a long time, but honestly, now I'm really not sure if I'm gonna continue. So today, I wanna break down what's really going on with Southwest Airlines. From the meltdown that led millions of people stranded all over the US, to rising competition in the airline industry, and new policies that are frankly quite questionable. Now, before we talk about the downfall of Southwest, let's bring it back to where it all began. Back in 1967, two guys, Herb Kelleher and Rollin King, had a simple idea: create an airline that made flying as easy and affordable as driving. That idea became Southwest Airlines. They started small, just 3 planes flying between Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. But their mission was bold: low fares, fast turnarounds, and fun. And as you could have guessed, it worked. While other airlines focused on luxury and complex routes, Southwest focused on efficiency. No assigned seats, no meal service, and famously, no baggage fees. It was a formula that revolutionized air travel and made Southwest a favorite amongst budget-conscious travelers. By the 2000s, Southwest wasn't just a low-cost carrier, it was one of the most profitable airline businesses in the world. For decades, they managed something rare in aviation: loyal fans, constant growth, and a very good safety record. But recently, the story of Southwest has taken a turn. An airline that once felt unstoppable is now facing turbulence. And it's not just from the weather. Let's start with the first and most public blow: the holiday meltdown of 2022. And if you know, you know. Over 16,000 flights were canceled in less than 2 weeks. Families were stranded in airports across the country. Luggage piled up like snowbanks, and the internet was flooded with angry videos, memes, and Karens having a thing or two to say. Aside from the weather, which most of the airlines had cancellations, Southwest really got screwed because of their old scheduling system, which is called point-to-point, which most airlines don't follow anymore. Nowadays, most major airlines use what's called the hub and spoke model. That means planes and passengers all connect through big central hubs like Atlanta or Chicago before heading out to smaller cities. So it's like a wheel where the hub is the center and every route spokes out from it. But Southwest did things a bit differently. They built a point-to-point system, flying directly between cities instead of routing everything through a single hub. So instead of flying from Denver to Dallas to Phoenix, you could fly straight from Denver to Phoenix. That approach meant shorter travel times, faster turnarounds, and it reduced congestion at any one airport. It also helped them keep costs down and keep planes in the air longer. So when planes are in the air longer, it just means they make more money. But winter storms hit. Pilots and flight attendants were out of position, and the airline had no way to track or reassign them efficiently. They were screwed. It only took other airlines days to recover. It took Southwest weeks. That meltdown cost the company close to $1 billion, and honestly, I think it ruined their reputation. And that only made competition even worse. The low-cost space that Southwest once dominated is now crowded. Luckily, Frontier Airlines and Spirit Airlines have been showing consistent struggle financially and bankruptcy. However, they are still very competitive in this budget travel space. Not to mention, airlines like Delta and United are now offering cheap basic economy fares. And not only are they offering cheap fares, they have a massive loyal fan base, access to international travel around the world, and luxurious lounges that Southwest isn't even offering yet. Not to mention their new policies are making their loyal fan base start to question whether they really want to fly Southwest anymore. But what exactly is going to be new with Southwest's new policy? Now, they've been hinting at it for a little while. So after 50 years in their open seating policy, they will now go to assigned seats. Now, there won't be actually a first class option, but you will have different premium options, one with more leg room, one that might include a checked bag or a drink. But now what I'm personally sad about is the free checked bags. Now, although I do have a Southwest credit card, which is good news. If you have a Southwest credit card, you do get one free checked bag on every flight, so you won't have to worry about it. Now, I do kind of understand why they're moving to this option. Pretty much every airline requires you to pay for a checked bag, but I do think it's what made them stand out so much that people are now starting to question, is it really worth it? I don't get a free checked bag anymore. Now, one last interesting change, which is also pretty common amongst airlines, is any points you get from flying Southwest, now they do expire within a year. However, something to note is that if you do have points from this previous year all the way till the dawn of time, then you do get to keep those points and they will not expire. It's only when those changes happen will you not be able to do that anymore. Now look, most of these policies are so common amongst most airlines. I would say most airlines have pretty similar policies where you have to pay for checked bags, you gotta sometimes pay for carry-ons. It kind of goes up and down, but many of them are very similar, and I think Southwest is now just moving towards those airlines. And they are doing a lot of things to help improve the experience in hopes that they can compete with Delta, with United, with some of these other airlines that offer a bit more amenities and have more comfortable seats. Can Southwest make a comeback? I do think it's possible. They were previously using that point-to-point model, and they did announce that they are going to start using the hub and spoke model on some of their flights to help avoid those cancellations and the giant meltdown that happened in 2022. Also, if you hadn't noticed, Southwest has started to upgrade the majority of their planes. There's a bit more leg room. There's new seats, which are way more comfortable in my opinion than those really old planes. They also finally have a charging station, which a little far behind in my opinion, but that you've got the charging station. They've got new lights and mood settings that they kind of use, as well as some music when you walk into the plane to kind of set the tone, which is pretty cool. I do think that some of those newer Southwest planes are pretty nice and are pretty competitive with what I've experienced on Delta, at least from a domestic standpoint. Now, more recently, they have hinted that they will be adding more international travel destinations. Now, I think if they were to open up the international space, this could be absolutely huge and a great game changer for them financially. If they can find a way to offer affordable international flights and compete with United and with Delta with their competitive pricing, I do think that could make a difference, and people might start to choose Southwest over some of these other airlines. Now, obviously, there's way more competition in the international space, so that would make it really tough for them to kind of find that market, especially when it's an American-based company and it's not really as well known amongst the rest of the world. Personally, I don't really think Southwest is going to go anywhere. I think their prices will stay affordable, and as long as they do stay affordable, I do believe people will still book them. I think most travelers these days are just trying to find the cheapest, best flight that they possibly can, and I do think Southwest has a pretty good history at that. Now, if they don't modernize fast enough with the rest of the airlines, I do think they will struggle, so let's see what kind of updates they have, and as long as they keep the brownie brittle, then we are good to go. Tell me what you think. Do you think this is the downfall of Southwest, or do you think this is just a small bump in the road, and once everything changes and people get used to it, they're still gonna fly Southwest like they always have? If you love all things travel, whether it's traveling the world, adventure, news, and what's going on, then feel free to give me a follow. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.